Good morning. Happy Tuesday. How are you guys doing? It's Kirsten Liebelt. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. Really well. So, oh, never mind. I'm going to filter myself. Go figure. Go figure. Tell me if you're on the replay. Tell me where you're coming in from. I would love to know. It's always so good to just connect with people. I know that when I talk to a lot of you, you're at work. Some of you are watching on the replay. I was just chatting with somebody last night, and she was saying, "I listen to you the next day because I can't listen to you at work, but then my husband can listen in." Hi, Cheryl. Good morning. Good morning. Oh man. Okay, let me see here. Perfect. Okay, so I just thought that was funny because I'm like, well, I do have some guys who are my customers for sure, but most of the time I'm just chatting with y'all women. That's why the Facebook group is for women, right? Like, anyway, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. That is the name of the Facebook group. And if anybody does not know, so this is just housekeeping, and then I'm going to get into insulin resistance and how it's affecting your adrenals. Somebody was asking me, I said yesterday, let me know some things that you guys want to talk about and let's chat about them together. And so one of my customers connected with me and she said, I want to understand more about the, like the adrenal connection. And so I said, let's do it. Housekeeping is, so the trio are the 3 products that help with insulin sensitivity. Those are the ones that I've used now for over 10 years. And the glucose product has been out of stock. It's back in stock, but I do believe that there are some pockets of the US that you can't get it. In fact, I grabbed 2 out of inventory yesterday for somebody. So what I'm saying is, if you are wanting to get the trio and be ready for the challenge in August, it starts August 12th. If you need to see the testimonies, go to the Instagram pink highlight bubble, or in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, guide number 4. But if the one is out of stock, purchase the other 2. Let me know. I have inventory and I can mail it to you. I can Venmo and mail. Okay. How does that sound? So just letting you know that that's what's happening. That's my housekeeping for today. And I think that's all that I have. Somebody was asking, where do you find the recipe for the raspberry danishes that I made on Sunday morning? They are phenomenal. It's taking the egg white bread and it is using them to make danishes. And we even made that little custard in the middle and a little homemade raspberry jelly. You guys, it sounds like it's hard. It's not at all. But that is on Maria's website, mariamindbodyhealth.com. And you can just search danishes. So I think that's all that I have for this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see who all is. I don't want to miss people. Nova Scotia. That's fantastic. My reach into Canada has been really fun recently. I've been gaining a lot of customers up yonder in Canada. That's really, really fun. Nice to meet you. Really, really nice. Okay. I think we're good. I know. Good to be on time. Linda, for you or me? Because I'm just saying. I'm usually setting something up. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. Okay. So I really wanted to talk about this because I feel like this is the very beginning of my journey and I didn't understand all of the connections. And so when we have this conversation, at least in the United States, this could be different in different places, but I think we're sort of common. We end up having 2 conversations. Okay. One conversation is perimenopause, all of your hormones, messing up your life, making you freaking crazy. And then we have another conversation that is insulin resistance. And we may not even call it that. We may just say, whatever, belly fat, pre-type 2, those types of things. And we keep them like this. But the truth is that they are both the same coin most of the time. Not all of the time, but most of the time, because we're dealing with hormones. And if you put them together, you get the same coin. I knew none of this. None of this. And I'm still like, I don't come on because I know stuff. I come on because I'm a geek and I love to research. And I have the answers that I found for myself that now I have a bunch of testimonies out of with other people, right? I started locally and then I got up enough noise to go online and to talk about it online, et cetera. And so now this is all expanded, blah, blah, blah. Well, the truth is that when you can understand that you can view things through the lens of insulin resistance and get different results, that is really very quite helpful. It calms the noise around your head because there's so much noise out there. You guys, we have more noise now than ever, right? Because we're on video. But video wasn't always, right? That was only like maybe 8-10 years ago that this all started, to be able to be this in your space, in your home, in your living room, right? Like this is kind of new. So we do have a lot of noise, and I have a very narrow conversation. One conversation, it's just, I remember listening to a pastor, he said, I have only one sermon. It's just about 500 hours long. I feel the same way. I only have one conversation. It's just like 500 hours long. And we're going to talk about that one conversation of insulin resistance and how it affects literally everything in your life, because those are the things that are frustrating you the most. All of those things that are probably frustrating you if you're on my content, it's probably because of insulin resistance, and we didn't know it because we weren't taught these things. Okay, so being raised by a type 2 dad, he was insulin resistant. He was always in a hospital or having a procedure. His quality of life really tanked about 10 years before he passed at 63. So right around in his early 50s, because he was diagnosed with type 2 at 35. And by the time he ended up in his 50s, he just had this massive pile of meds and scripts, but still kept having heart procedures and heart surgeries and kidney dialysis. And his life was going like this, tinking, until, here we are, because I live in Minnesota, until we come home the week that he actually died. And we go to the Mall of America. My kids are 6'3" and 6 months old. And we're, he's in a scooter and he doesn't have functioning mobility, right? And then he ends up dying that Friday that we were home. And so I always wanted to know in my head, like, why? I don't get it. Like, he didn't have the CAN, you know what I mean? He didn't have that. So I don't get it. Like, why did all of that mess? Wasn't that regulating anything? And the answer is no, actually not. Band-Aids, just patching Band-Aids all over him and nothing really fixing anything. So that began my journey. So when I'm in my 40s now, so jump way ahead, I'm 30 when he dies, jump way ahead to my 40s. I had already in my early 20s been gestational with my first baby, hypoglycemic with my second baby. I'm still not tracking, and nobody's saying anything to me from the medical establishment. Nobody. I do not leave a hospital after testing my blood 4 times a day. For most of my first pregnancy, I do not leave and have anybody say anything to me like, you are now 7 times more likely to become type 2. Oh, your dad is type 2 diabetic? Oh, okay. We should probably, because they ask you your family history. Nobody talked to me about anything at all. They literally took my blood after I delivered. I'm trying to think. I think they had me drink a hot cocoa. They said, what do you want? I said hot cocoa, I think, or chocolate milk. So he's 35. I might not have the perfect memory. And I basically, they tested my blood and they said, okay, you're good to go. You delivered the gestational diabetes. Like it's not, because you delivered your baby, that's gone now. I went on my merry way, very unaware. I was super disconnected though, you guys. Like, I didn't function well in my 20s. I don't know why. I just didn't. Life didn't dawn on me super well. I don't know why. And so when I hit my 30s, I just kept on going and doing all of my normal eating, my Italian ways, everything white. And that's how I raised my kids. And it wasn't until I got into my 40s. So now I get in my 40s, and maybe you can resonate with this. As somebody who is perimenopausal, your brain fog is off the charts. your stress right underneath the surface, your anxiety, just bubbling. I should do it this way. Bubbling, bubbling, bubbling right underneath the surface. Maybe there's like this sadness that kind of comes over you, and you're not like me putting all of this together. And so maybe you go to, a medical provider, and they're giving you an anti-sadness or something like that. You too. That's what they told you to. I know. You are Lisa. Yep. And that's why I get on here and talk about it, because the one message that I want to get across to every single person is this is not a terminal diagnosis. So it is ridiculous that we do not get the information we need just to turn this around. This is simple. This is not hard. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy. Thank you for all the likes, you guys, on TikTok. I appreciate you. Good morning, Kristen. Kristen's in the house. That means she's going to love on me here for a minute. And I appreciate you so much. So much. It gets things out into the FYP and all that good stuff. It is ridiculous. And I just want to say this. I get it, you guys. I really do. I understand the emotional connections to food. I get it. I get how you have to work through your mind. You have to work through your heart. You have to work through your habits and your routines and all of that stuff. I get it. I do. But that is not as hard as somebody who is going through a chronic, I shouldn't say chronic, that's not the right word, a terminal condition where they really have to navigate a lot of really hard stuff. And maybe they have to take treatments that are really hard. This is not hard. I took some supplements. I traded out my food ingredients. I lost 3 sizes because I used the lens of insulin resistance. I targeted my insulin resistance. I was specific. I didn't take just anything. That's the trio. I traded out my ingredients, and now I teach it in a Facebook group, and people are getting same results. This is not hard. This is hard. This is hard. A simple routine is not hard. Okay. That's my message to everybody. Do not allow this to get you overwhelmed. Do not allow this to make you feel like this is the hardest thing you've ever done. I was so in my head for so long, thinking that this was going to be the most mountainous thing I ever did was to trade out my foods. And in the end, I look back and I go, it actually wasn't. It actually wasn't. So that's why over the weekend, if you go back on the replays, except for TikTok, sorry, you have to jump over to Instagram because they don't get posted here. Over the weekend, we made the sugar-free chocolate pudding. We made the raspberry danishes. We made a chocolate egg white bread. We did a few things because I want to show you guys that you can learn this too. You really can. But let's deal with the adrenal situation, because this is probably one of the cores of why you have a lot of brain fog going on. Okay. So I'm going to actually just go through this information, and then we'll just chat a little further. You let me know what kind of questions that you have. And I will put together, I haven't done it yet, but I can do it. I can put together I'll put together carts for gut health and things like that. If you guys want that simplicity of all the things in one cart so you can see them in one place, I'll put together something that will have 3 things in it to help adrenals. Okay. And you can just put adrenal cart, something like that on my Facebook. It'll stay there. Instagram, you have to get into my inbox, and TikTok, you have to get over to IG, or you can text this number right there. And you can say, you're talking about an adrenal cart. Will you send that to me? All right, let's get into this, because I find this stuff to be very interesting. And I feel like the more you know, the better off you are to actually go, okay, that's why I'm not just taking anything. That's why I'm taking something specific. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. All right. So insulin resistance can have a significant impact on your adrenal gland function. I was told by a naturopath that the way that I take care of my adrenals is how I'm going to go through menopause. And I had no idea what an adrenal was. And I just didn't, I was like, because I just wasn't connected to my body. But I heard it and I listened enough to at least store it in my brain. The adrenal glands are responsible for producing several hormones, including cortisol, which plays a crucial role in stress response, metabolism, and immune function. Here's how insulin resistance affects the adrenals. So again, Insulin resistance affecting your gut, insulin resistance affecting fatty liver, insulin resistance affecting your adrenals. Like this is all connected. I swear it's the base of everything. That's why I don't shut up about insulin resistance and like targeting your supplementation for it, because let's go to the core of the core of the core and stop putting script band-aids on everything. It's frustrating, right? I think I missed something. I don't know if I did. Okay, I don't think so. Okay, so basically, when you are talking about adrenals, adrenal fatigue, or that's kind of a buzzword or whatever, a buzz phrase. Your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys and they help regulate your hormones. So this is why this is so important, because insulin is a hormone and cortisol is a hormone. And obviously we're talking about insulin primarily, but cortisol, like they're kind of like sisters. They're sisters, they're friends. It's the way that I see it anyway. So here we go. Linking insulin resistance and adrenal function. So increased cortisol, production, stress response. Insulin resistance can trigger a stress response, leading to increased production of cortisol. Chronic elevation of cortisol levels can contribute to a range of health issues, including further exacerbation of insulin resistance. It also affects your blood sugar regulation. So this is why kind of you want both, and you want the whole coin. You want both sides of the coin, right? Cortisol helps maintain blood sugar levels. In the presence of insulin resistance, the body can produce more cortisol to counteract the effects of high blood sugar, leading to a cycle of elevated cortisol levels. So what happens is we kind of get on this hamster wheel and it just keeps going round and round and round. So chronic stress is definitely connected to insulin resistance. You're kind of in this chronic stress mode, which can disrupt your axis, your HPA axis, whatever. This disruption, though, can lead to an imbalance of cortisol production. So remember, like when I talk about how when you have insulin resistance and it's almost like you've got the other hormones, and the high insulin that you have in your body all the time, it kind of like does domino effect on all your other hormones. It goes brrr, and it kind of is messing all of your hormones and you don't know it. That's why I keep saying, go back to the core. Let's go back to the core. Okay. And this begins this whole feedback loop. And then the next one is inflammation. We talk about inflammation a lot. We did that yesterday. And I talked about just, when you have when you're constantly spiking your sugars and you're calling on your pancreas to create more insulin and shuttle the sugar into your cell like this, and your cell is closed off, your body's going to keep making insulin, because that is that's what your body does. It's fearfully and wonderfully made. It's going to keep doing its job to the best of its ability. But all of that insulin is creating high inflammation in your body. So insulin resistance is linked to chronic low-grade inflammation. So if you feel inflamed and you're insulin resistant, just know that that's normal. That's why I talk about, let's get down the insulin, let's get down the sugars, let's deal with the inflammation. Some people need good day, Susan. Good to see you. Some people need like the turmeric that I talk about, because you're trying to bring down major inflammation in your body. And prolonged inflammation and cortisol production can eventually lead to adrenal fatigue. So over time, you kind of shift into you're shifting down your gears, so to speak, where the adrenals become less responsive to stress signals and produce inadequate amounts of cortisol. So that's so fascinating, right? Because then if you're not producing enough cortisol, that's kind of like how when you go from insulin resistant and you have too much insulin to kind of it's almost like the system wears out, it gets tired, and then you're not producing enough, and now you have to take insulin shots. So kind of like it does get to a point where then now you kind of cross this threshold. Okay. Insulin resistance can lead to imbalances in other hormones like your DHEA, your aldosterone, which are produced by the adrenal glands. These imbalances can affect, listen to this now, listen up, okay? Because when we go to the provider, we are given an answer for a specific instance as though it is an island unto itself. I did a reel on this last night, I think it was. It's all by itself. We treat it like it's all by itself and it doesn't have an underlying reason why it's there. Okay? Like just all of a sudden, out of the blue, overnight, you have high blood pressure. Oh, you must have eaten too much salt. I mean, that's kind of how we do this in our heads in the United States anyway. That's ridiculous. The question that we should have is why? Where did it come from? How did this happen? Is it really only genetic? I think not. Can we have predispositions? Sure. But the truth is that my mom, who was 100% Swedish and never had any type 2 in her family, became type 2 in her 80s. Why? Okay, so listen up on this one. Insulin resistance can lead to the imbalance in other hormones that are produced by your adrenal glands. These imbalances can affect blood pressure, electrolyte balance, and overall energy levels. So insulin resistance at the core affecting blood pressure. So that's why when somebody starts on the trio, the 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity, that's why oftentimes, and there are no claims, but the most recent testimony that I have, like I think I got it last week or the week before, she's been on the trio for 3 months, but she's off of 2 BP meds. Core, let's deal with the core. Okay. And she's lost 10 pounds. So she's pretty excited about that too. Because when your insulin and your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. Okay. Metabolic stress. So this is another thing. We are always thinking in our heads. This is kind of the myth of our thought process. Oh, my metabolism, it's just slowing down because I'm getting older. No. Your metabolism is shifting because of metabolic syndrome, but you can keep your metabolism in a different spot, or you can return it back to a better spot. But let's deal with the core. And that's just my conversation. Are there other layers and other conversations? Sure. This is just mine. I have one conversation that's just 500 hours long. So basically, insulin resistance can cause metabolic stress, where cells struggle to utilize glucose efficiently. Oh, you guys, it's the core of the message. The adrenals respond by increasing cortisol production to mobilize alternative energy sources like fats and proteins, further straining adrenal function. It can, it's such a big piece of the puzzle, which then in turn affects your sleep. It affects your circadian rhythms. And this is why y'all are not sleeping, because of hormonal imbalances. That's the base. So insulin resistance can disrupt normal circadian rhythms, leading to abnormal cortisol patterns. Typically, cortisol levels peak in the morning and they decline throughout the day. Insulin resistance can cause irregular peaks and troughs, affecting sleep, energy, and mood. Okay, so your cortisol is supposed to peak in the morning. You wake up, you're awake. La, here I am. And then they're supposed to go down during the day so that you can then go back into your circadian rhythm and sleep again. But alas, if they are messed up, you're doing this. And now your mood and your sleep and your energy is being affected because now you're off rhythm. Okay. So poor sleep quality. Now, if you're not sleeping, poor sleep quality and disturbances are common in individuals with insulin resistance. We know this, right? This can further stress the adrenal glands as they work to regulate sleep-wake cycles and respond to metabolic demands. So can you see a little bit of the hamster wheel? Here we are. We're just on this hamster wheel. Round and round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. This is literally the conversation. It's like, what in the world? And we're trying to put a Band-Aid on here and a Band-Aid on here and a Band-Aid on here. And that's what we're trying to do. And it's not working. And we're like, why is this not working? Adrenal chart, Cheryl, what do you mean? Let's see. Tell me what you mean. I'll see if I can find something. Yes, Cheryl says. Yes, she's very excited. Your cortisol is up, isn't it? I'm just kidding. You have good energy. Oh, adrenal cart. I will get you an adrenal. Cheryl, you're hysterical. Okay, thank you. I'm like, oh my gosh, should I put together a chart? Because I probably can. I just need to know what information to put into it. Okay, that's really hysterical. Okay, adrenal cart. I will get that for you, Cheryl. I will do that for you. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, your comments will go away when we're done today. So you have to either get into my inbox, Instagram, TikTok, you can either go over to Instagram or you can text me this number and say, I was on your live today and you were talking about adrenals. Send me the adrenal cart. But I'm going to tell you what's going to be in it in just a minute. So the consequences of adrenal dysfunction in insulin resistance. Let's just talk about how this is making you feel. Why do you even care? Let's reverse engineer what's going on in your day on any given day. Okay. So number one, if you have adrenal fatigue, if you have, Leanne, you have to put that in my inbox. Go jump into my inbox after I'm done and tell me adrenal cart, and I will get that to you. Okay, I promise. And then eventually what I'll do is I will put it on my site for you guys. I have a gut health cart already on my site, but I'll create that and put that up there. I just have to create it. So I will do that. But anyway, so worsened insulin resistance. Elevated cortisol levels can increase blood sugar levels. This is why we're just spinning. We're spinning. And insulin resistance creating a vicious cycle. So we don't want to do that, right? We don't want the vicious cycle. Number two, fatigue and low energy. Come on, we know what that feels like. So many of you come to me and you say, but I'm just so tired. Like, we can talk about meals. We can talk about ingredient trade outs. I can show you my pantry and my fridge, which I do in the challenges in the group. And the group is Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. But your brain fog or your exhaustion is making it hard for you to take those steps. Okay. I was just on the phone with somebody yesterday talking about that whole adrenal conversation. And it does, because you feel overwhelmed, because your energy and your fatigue is just, whew. So maybe if we can kind of back into this a little bit, what if there was a way for you to regain mental clarity and energy while you're dealing with your insulin resistance and turning everything back at the same time? I unknowingly, very naively, and very disconnected to my body did this. This is what God gave me for my answers. And I'll tell you exactly what they are, and then we'll move forward. Good morning, Mary. Good to see you. I hit the nail right on the head. Yeah, you're a sponge right now. You love this. Oh, yay. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Okay. So fatigue and low energy, adrenal dysfunction can lead to chronic fatigue and low energy levels, impacting your overall quality of life. I think that's a given. We understand that, where my mom used to say this to me. This is so interesting. And I don't really necessarily always know what, because I'm now just reversing her life. Like, the older you get, the more you think about these things. But she used to always say things to me like this. Oh, I just hate it when my house is messy. It overwhelms my brain and I just want to lay down. Like, it's just too much for my mind. And I just want to lay down and take a nap. Well, if we would have reversed engineered all of that, had I known what I know now, maybe I could have helped her get past that. Because when we have that overwhelmed feeling and our body is not adapting to stress well, that's that whole adrenal conversation. Because adaptogenic herbs, which I'll share with you in just a second, that's the adrenal cart. Adaptogenic herbs help your body adapt to stress. God gave us these plants to help us adapt to stress. I'm just telling you. Okay. Mood disorders. Number 3, Imbalances in cortisol and other adrenal hormones can contribute to mood swings, anxiety, and sadness. The D word. Okay. Imbalances in cortisol and other adrenal hormones can contribute to mood swings, anxiety, and sadness, which is that D word. Okay. And I think that was for me. I felt that happening in my 40s, perimenopausal. I felt it because there were similarities to my postpartum sadness after my first baby, because that was off the charts bad. And I went, oh, this is a familiar feeling. I don't like this. But I didn't know Corda what, like I had no idea. I didn't know insulin resistance was even a terminology. Like I just was very not connected. And then the last one is immune system suppression. So here we are, right? Now we have immune system compromise. Chronic cortisol elevation can suppress the immune system, making the body more susceptible to infections and illnesses. And we don't want that. We don't want to be in that cycle. I mean, oh my gosh, we're already in the cycle of weight gain and not being able to lose weight. We're already in the cycle of being totally exhausted and having low energy. We're already in the cycle of feeling stressed and overwhelmed. We don't want another cycle of then sickness. That's no bueno, right? So let's reverse engineer all the way back to the adrenals and see if we can't help that, right? So your 39-year-old daughter has PCOS. I can't get her to believe her life would be so different if she followed a healthy lifestyle. She eats like a 3-year-old and wonders why she can't sleep. Ugh, I know. And I had that conversation with somebody last night also. There are some people that will never make changes, and sometimes unto their death. And you can't, I'm not saying that for your daughter at all. I'm just saying in general, like they just won't make the changes because for whatever reason, we all have reasons why we self-sabotage. That's why I talk about that a lot. People, when you feel like a pull to reach out to me and you don't, that could be self-sabotage. I had somebody say to me that she was going to make a poor decision on food as she was listening to me in her ear. She was literally, I think, driving into a restaurant to make a really bad decision. And she heard me talking about self-sabotage and she changed what she bought completely. And instead of doing whatever, it doesn't matter. And she reached out to me and said, thank you for talking about that. So there are many reasons why there are some people that won't change things. And that's how that goes. Good morning, Mary. Did I say good morning already? I think I did. I see names pop up. Things do weird things on Facebook. So because of my StreamYard. Anyway, so we don't want to be more susceptible to sickness. So your physical symptoms can be chronic fatigue. You're just all the time. You're so tired, weight gain. You're so frustrated. Nothing you do is working. Sleep disturbances. You're not sleeping. And when you don't sleep the next day, your insulin resistance is up and so is your cortisol. Muscle weakness and pain, digestive issues. Do you see how this all goes together? If you listen to my content, we're talking about all of these things, but we have one base root of everything, insulin resistance. So therefore you end up with a lot of mood swings. Maybe you have a lot of brain fog. For me, my brain fog was keeping me from multitasking, and I needed to multitask at a higher level. Like this was a big deal for me. I was working in a job that required me to multitask at a high level. You feel stressed, you feel overwhelmed. And if these are you, then I'm talking to you. The long-term health risks of not doing anything about elevated cortisol levels and adrenal issues, etc. Type 2, cardiovascular. Funny, nobody's talking about animal fat there. Just saying, like the information is right there. We just are being marketed to and with not well information, with not well thought out information. Hormonal imbalances, immune system impairment, and you can improve how you feel, obviously by doing a lot of different things. The main thing that I talk about are supplements and food, supplements and food, and you really can change things back. So let's talk about adaptogenic herbs for a minute, because I want to tell you what I'll put in a cart for you. I haven't created it yet, but I will. Yeah, weight gain. I know. And that's because when your insulin and or your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. But then, as you can see, that also creates this life with cortisol. And that's another hormone. So I say this a lot during the challenge. And the next challenge it starts on August 12th, and it's in the Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And you can grab, I'm going to tell you about some supplements right now. You can grab supplements and get ready for the challenge. Be ready. Some people have done 7 challenges in a row. This is our 15th. And some people, this is like their second one, but repetition is the mother of all skills. But the point being that weight loss, it's not a calorie in, calorie out problem. I understand that calories play a part, but calories play just as much of a part in weight loss as the scale does in telling you what's actually going on in your body. Super inefficient, super not clear at all. Because a scale will tell you whether or not you lost gravitational weight. Well, that could be from impacted waste, water, muscle. It doesn't give you a clear picture. And calorie in, calorie out, well, then you should just be able to eat Oreos and have that in a 100-calorie pack as opposed to eating half of an avocado. It should be the same. It's not at all. One's going to spike your sugars, call on insulin, you're insulin resistant, and insulin is a hormone, it's going to store it as fat. The other one's going to keep you full and satiated, and your hormones are going to go, thank you. Do you understand? Completely different food doing completely different things inside of your body. So this is not a calorie in, calorie out problem. This is a hormonal problem. Take off your glasses, put on a different set of lenses, insulin resistant. All of a sudden now, we're going to view weight loss through the lens of insulin resistance. And that's going to then reverse other pieces. No claims. I'm just telling you. If insulin resistance is an impetus to bad gut health, an impetus to high cortisol and all those other issues, an impetus to fatty liver, to HBP, right? Take it back, take it back, take it back. Come on, reverse engineer, reverse engineer. Come back to the base. Let's deal with your insulin resistance. Let's go to the core of the core of the core. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, she's going to do it. You're going to reach out to me. I love that, Leanne. Okay, so this is how I started. This is literally exactly my story. So, and I got to explain this last night on a Zoom with somebody. And I love talking about this because me, little old me, Italian me, eating everything wrong and just never thinking I would trade out my foods or take a supplement other than ibuprofen. Little old me, God gave me these answers for me, but now I understand why they worked. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I was talked to about 2 different things. One was, balloons on Instagram. I can see them out of the corner of my eye. Let's see, do I have one here? Hold on. Yep, I do. I have to restock. I got to restock my stuff. I was talked about 2 different things. Okay. So the first thing that I was talked to about was helping my sugars and my insulin through just like looking at a product line, etc. And I'm like, okay, fine. Cross my fingers. Maybe it'll work because my mom won't leave me alone about my sugars. So maybe that'll help. Okay, good. And then at the same time, I was talked to about this adaptogenic herb right here. And that was because my brain fog was really bad. My ability to multitask was just not there. And I don't know if you have ever felt super vulnerable, like you don't want other people to know how hard of a time you're having, maybe. Okay. And that was kind of where I was in my 40s. And I was like, you're just going to keep going or whatever. And somebody said, hey, why don't you try this and see how this helps you? And sure enough, it was like, whoa, I can focus. This is interesting. So This is now where my life is at. What I didn't understand was I'll talk about the trio second, because that's not our first conversation today. Adaptogenic herbs. So when I was given this one and in the cart, this is what I'm going to do. This adaptogenic herb is inside of the purple packet. If you already take the purple packet, you're good to go. I'm actually not going to put the full purple packet this time into the cart because I want you to just see individually. Okay. So this one is a blend of rhodiola and green tea extract. Now, you may have never heard of rhodiola, and that's okay. My caution to anybody who I kind of don't understand, and I'm just gonna be real with you here for a second. When I look on Amazon and I see these herbs in really high doses, I want to understand why. Because I don't think they're safe. And that's going to be for the two that I'm going to talk about right here. I've got actually three, but anyway, it very much concerns me, just like how the injection concerns me that women are losing weight at the cost of their muscle. This is equally as so for me in my head, because I was just again on Amazon looking things up. In the studies that I have done in talking about rhodiola and balancing hormones, you would want 300 to 400 milligrams a day. Number one, make sure that whatever you buy, make sure it's organic. Don't take herbs that are not organic. Don't do that. You are making it so hard on your liver, and I'll get to your liver in just a second because that's what this is going to talk about. Okay? Don't make this hard. These are all plants. Adaptogenic herbs are plants. Oh. Can everybody hear me? I don't know if everybody can hear me. Somebody said they can't hear me. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. So make sure that they're organic. So this is what I do. I take these that are organic and they are third-party tested and I know what's in them. Okay. Does that make sense? Really important. Like you need to know that what you're taking matters. Okay. Oh, I was paused due to a poor connection on Instagram. Sorry, Instagram. That's weird. You can. Perfect. Thank you, Cindy. You can hear me. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. So this is the rhodiola, and I'm going to put it singularly in the cart. Okay. Just by itself. And one of these has 100 milligrams in it. And you would take 300 to 400 milligrams to help with hormonal or adrenal help. Okay. Please don't just go take large amounts. The more isn't the better on some of this stuff. You can actually mess up things inside of your body if you're taking these high doses. So I know that they are 1,000 milligrams. Anyway, I'm just saying that there's a really good book out there called The Rhodiola Revolution. Go get that book, download it, put it to your Kindle and read it. Okay. Just be aware. Okay. That you can OD on supplements. They are not regulated and people can just say whatever they want. And then they can also say on the outside of the package, whatever it is, and on the inside of the package, it's not true. So that's why these are all NSF certified. These are like third-party tested NSF certified. Okay, I'm done on that. Okay, Fatima, thank you so much, Fatima, for telling me that. So that's the rhodiola. I'll put that in the cart. The second one is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is talked about all the time. It's phenomenal. It really is. It helps you with stress, mood, and sleep. I take one in the morning. I take all of these, by the way. And I mean, I've done this for my entire late 40s up into my 50s. I'm now 59. I do not take any meds and I never had a hot flash. I totally by default figured out how to deal with my adrenals and my hormones. So ashwagandha is great also. But again, it's a hype word. Everybody's talking about it. Please don't take large doses of ashwagandha. Let's go with somebody who has over 500 scientists making sure that what they are telling you to take on it, their recommendation is right. Please do that. I just know stories. I know stuff. Okay. Then the third one is actually a holy basil. This is a zinc and holy basil. Holy basil is another adaptogenic herb. So those are the three that I'm going to put in a cart if you want the adrenal cart. Okay. And then you can look at those for yourself. So if you put it, you have to get into my inbox on Instagram, TikTok. You either have to text me or you have to go over to Instagram, and I haven't even created this yet. I'll create this when I get off. Adrenal cart. Okay. And now I'm going to quickly then just tell you about the trio, because this goes hand in hand. Some of you might want both. Some of you might want the trio and the adrenals all in one, and in which case you'll have 6 products in one cart to look at. But the trio goes together. The adrenal ones, you can pick and choose what you want if you only want the ashwagandha or if you only want the rhodiola. Okay. But I'm telling you, the rhodiola, that's what helped me with my brain fog. I'm just telling you. Like, I've taken it now for years. It's a very highly studied herb. It's a Siberian herb. Rhodiola rosea is the specific whatever, and it's been studied for a long time. And if you look at the book, all you have to do is look at the cover of the book, The Rhodiola Revolution, on Amazon, and it'll tell you a lot of the things that it's helping with. I'm not even going to say them here. Okay. I'm just telling you, God gave us answers. The trio, helping you with your sugars, your insulin, your metabolism, your liver, your visceral belly fat, sugar cravings, appetite control. It's literally like, this is where all the testimonies are coming from for the insulin resistance. They are in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, guide number 4, and they are at the top of my Instagram page in a pink highlight bubble. I'm going to figure out how to get some on my website. Anyway, more than what I have already. What you may not know is that your liver actually helps you when you get your liver functioning. It actually helps you to dump excess cortisol. So important. Your liver is amazing. And then the other 2 are helping you with metabolism and the visceral belly fat around your organs. That's super unsafe. And then you want to bring down your sugars and your insulin. This is why the testimonies are what they are. Of people saying, my morning sugars have gone down 30 points. I'm now off of 2 BP meds after 3 months. I lost 23 pounds in X amount of months. I've lost whatever it is. People are, because it's actually helping your internal engine. And I am a root cause girly. Let's get to the root cause and stop putting Band-Aids on everything. We have to stop doing that. And all of the scripts, it's as though you are an island unto yourself, or your issue, your symptom is an island unto itself. And that's really frustrating. And so you just keep putting, well, here's a script for your HB that's high. Oh, here's a script for your sugars that are high. Oh, here's a script for the sadness now that you have because you took a script for the STATIN. Like, stop it. Stop it. That's what they're doing. So let's get inside of your engine. Let's lift up the hood of your engine. Let's start working where your pancreas and your liver and your visceral belly fat all lives all in one place. Let's work on your internal engine. Okay. Let's just see what happens. 6-month guarantee on all the products, right? So no risk. No risk. Just make sure that you go to the top of the page where there's a person icon and register with your name as a customer. I can send you a card. Okay. Do that for me. But I'm just telling you, like, let's do that. And then, you know what, if you need the adrenal thought process where you're like, you know what, I'm so tired of feeling overwhelmed in my brain because I can't think clearly and I can't multitask well and my sleep is messed up. If you only want one product for your brain fog, get the rhodiola. Okay. I'm just telling you, it's a white and green bottle, be in the cart. If you only want help with your stress, your mood, and your sleep, although there's the rhodiola will help you with your mood too. But if you need more help with your stress and like your cortisol, get the ashwagandha. If you just want another layer, let me read quickly here before I jump off. Holy basil is known for its anti-inflammatory properties and its ability to help balance cortisol levels. It can reduce stress and support metabolic health, making it beneficial for managing insulin resistance. So it's another layer, okay? So you don't have to get everything I recommend. Let's customize it to you. Let's help you not have a supplement cupboard that looks like your makeup drawer. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does. So I'll give you just some basic instructions. I do have an appointment that I have to get on. But if you need a cart and you only want the trio, you can reach out to me. You can put it in Facebook comments all day long. It'll stay there. You guys on Instagram and TikTok, that's not how it works. So TikTok, you have to either text me and say, I was on your live and you said that there was a trio cart or an adrenal cart or both. And this is what I want. Instagram, get into my inbox. Okay. And thank you so much for the likes. You guys are amazing. Kristen, you're amazing. I so appreciate you. You're like doing the Lord's work, Kristen. I so appreciate you. You have no idea. And honeybees, thank you for liking so much. You guys, really, honestly, it helps so much because we can get the information out. Like we have got to, I know I get really passionate, and I'm sure that a part of it is because I'm Italian, but the other part of it is that it just ticks me off that this is such a simple conversation and that we're just being given bad information by the powers that be. And then we end up with side effects, and we end up with a quality of life that goes like this, not like this. And it matters because you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a sister, you're a friend, you have children, you want memories. You don't want to go into your elderly years and have insulin resistance of the brain. You don't want to be sitting around with brain fog in your 40s and early 50s wondering if it's dementia. These are the conversations I have in the background. Let's try some rhodiola and find out. Maybe you don't. I had somebody say she was taking the purple packet. I will say that. And the purple packet has the rhodiola in it with 2 other things. You can always ask me about it. I'm separating it out today. I'm taking just the rhodiola out of it today. But she was taking the purple packet and she said, oh my gosh, I thought I had dementia. Because in the purple packet, there's a memory one too. Anyway. See you, Deb. You have a wonderful day. Wonderful, wonderful day. So, oh, Kristen, you're so sweet. Okay. So if you need anything, you know where to find me. On Facebook, get into my messenger. On Instagram, get into my inbox. TikTok, either text me or jump over to IG. The group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Get in there. We have another free challenge coming up August 12th. We'll go through ingredient trade-offs. I'll take you into my pantry, my fridge that's right over there. I'll take you in there and I'll show you a visual of what I've done as an Italian person trading out my foods. We'll make a recipe. We'll do the things that are needed so that you can actually take action. And if you need a cart, don't sabotage yourself from just reaching out. I literally have people say, I've been watching you for a year and I just purchased the trio. Now, I'm super glad that you're still watching after a year. That's crazy to me. That's very crazy to me. However, God bless you. Like you finally just allowed yourself to take a step, because most of the time we just don't believe enough in ourselves. That's really what it is. But guess what? When I finally made these changes, when I finally did a few things like this, simple to take a supplement routine. This is simple. This is harder. This is simple. But because I did this, I went on and lost 3 sizes in my 50s. Because when you can bring down your insulin and your sugars, you can finally lose weight. So let's do that. All right. You guys have such a blessed day. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we will keep on with the conversation, okay? And then this weekend, I am out of town. So I don't know yet how I'm going to do my lives and stuff. I'm not sure. Thank you for following. Yes, thank you for following. Because otherwise I get off into the universe on TikTok. But so I don't know yet how I'm going to do things because I am traveling for a leadership I'm in Minnesota and I'm going to go to Texas. And so we might have some like weird times and stuff, but it'll be good. It'll be good. Cheryl, do I follow Dr. Mark Hyman? I know some of his stuff from Instagram, but I feel like I have definitely like I vibe with some of it and not with other stuff, but I don't necessarily know what. I would have to look at it to really know. So that's a really good question though. Because I don't know that he's a keto educator, and I'm very narrow on my conversation about being grain-free and sugar-free, etc. So I don't know. But I do follow him though. And so I must for a reason, right? I must. Because if I didn't, that's how that goes. All right. Have a super blessed day, you guys. Bye.